Sometimes Fusion or Planet Fusion Live or any of the previous versions of Planet might crash or give you an error about a master database. This normally happens when you are working on Planet and there's a power surge or there's electricity cuts. And what would happen is that it wouldn't close properly and the file would be corrupted, and it would say that your master database has been corrupted and it cannot use it again. So in that situation, you would restore your database from your backups, and this is how you would do it. First of all, you would click on My Computer, or you would go to Start and click on Computer or My Computer. Okay, the first thing that you would need to do is go and find the master database and get rid of that. So what you would do is click on C drive, and then you would go into Users, or on a Windows XP PC, you would have Documents and Settings. From here, you would go into Public or All Users in Windows XP. So Public and All Users is the same thing. Click on that, and then Public Documents and Shared Documents are the same thing. So Public Documents is on Vista, Shared Documents is on Windows XP. So you double click on that, and here you would find your master.mdb. If it was corrupted, you could right click on it and delete it and get rid of it. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could cut it, just get rid of it in this situation, in this location, and paste it somewhere on your desktop. So if I wanted to, I could right click on my desktop and go paste. And there is my master database. That's there. And it is no longer under my public documents. Now I would go into my backup databases and find the latest dates before you had the power surge or before you started having the problems with your master database. So for instance, if you had on the 29th, which is the day, today's date or this morning's date, so I would click on that. I can go right click on it, copy, and then I would go up one. So I can go back one, and I would right click here and press paste. And there it is there. Now you would need to rename it to master. So right click on it and go rename and say master with a capital M, small A-S-T-E-R, and then you would press enter, and there it is there. Now there's one more thing that you might need to do to get it to work, and this is what you would do. Let's go back until we go to users. So there we are under users, and we've got public, Martin, and default. On yours you would have different one. You would have all users, you would have your name or your company name or administrator or one of your default login names there. So what I would do is I need to go into my login name, which is Martin, and you would go into yours. Then you would go into app data or application data if you were using Windows XP. And then you would go into roaming if you're using Vista. This step here is not necessary if you use Windows XP. It would just show up on the next phase. So on Windows Vista, double click on roaming. For Windows XP, this page would automatically show up. But here you would go into 2020 Fusion, double click on that, double click on Fusion, and double click on 15. Then you would go into Client DB, and you would make sure that you delete everything out of this folder. Make sure that there's nothing there. If there's a Client DB, you would delete it. And that's how easy it is to restore your data. So now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to try out my new Fusion and my backup database. So I'm going to close this and then double click on Fusion. And it's going to connect. You put in your password, username and password. Mine is admin. And there is my data restored as it was. I've got all my clients there, and it's been restored to me as normal, and there's no problems. And this ends this video on how to restore data if it's been corrupted.